T Show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. Live long and prosper, bitches.
Shall we just start right off the bat with a Las Vegas update?
Are we still talking Vegas, right?
We are.
Talking about Vegas.
Yes. You're coming to Vegas, right? Star Trek Las Vegas may take place every August, but on this show...
This is where we hang out the rest of the year.
Exactly.
The crew has been fatigued now from so many months in space, and they need to take a break. The landing party has been down to check out the terrain while the crew gets ready to play. They say there's only plant life living on this lovely rock, but a rodent up here's wearing a vest.
Trolon True, bitches. This is Gettysburg 7 from the G&T Show with a supplemental log, and we're doing a What's Your Story? And I have a kindred spirit. And what's your name?
AJ.
And AJ is a deliriously gorgeous Romulan, as all Romulans are. Now, how did you get into Star Trek?
I got into Star Trek through the new movies, and after seeing the new movie, I was talking to my parents, and it turned out that we actually had the original series on DVD. So we went through my family and I watched the entire original series in order, and I thought, well, this is a really cool thing. And I was talking to my friends, and it turns out that all of us were incredibly bored every day after school because, you know, you either do band or you do organized sports. I wasn't really into the marching band. So I set up viewing parties in my house where I would get about 10 friends together and we'd all watch the original series. And those turned into a really cool thing where we would make themed food, and we haven't gotten all the way into games, but we're setting up games. So I had one friend who then decided to watch the entire Star Trek series, which took about a year and a half of dedicated work.
Oh, you mean all of them?
All of them.
In a row?
Yeah, in order. And all the movies. Again, she basically gave herself a second job. It was intense. So I didn't want to go that far, so I just decided to specialize in the original series and know all of it really, really well. And that way I didn't have to watch so much media. So she and I went to the very small convention in San Francisco that happened in 2013, it must have been, in December. And then we realized that this was going on in 2013 in the summer. We was like, oh, this is going to be really cool. So we set that whole thing up. And she and I went, and I actually wound up halfway through meeting up with a much larger group of people and staying with, and spending most of my time with them. So then I decided to come back to this basically because of them. I went to New York for college in the winter, and a group of about 20 of them actually lived in Manhattan, so we actually got together monthly to meet up and talk and have drinks. So it was a really great time, and I'm glad to be back.
And what drew you to the Romulans?
I saw a lot of people in uniform in cosplay, and I figured if I'm going to do a cosplay, I might as well not buy it. I kind of want to make it. And then the Romulan commander from the Enterprise incident is one of the few female uniforms that covers the majority of the body, so which is kind of a priority for me. I don't really feel comfortable in the really skimpy ones, but right on those who do. I mean, absolutely, you go for it. So even this I had to modify to be a jacket and a skirt just because the mini dress, I couldn't sit down. In the mini dress. So, but it's also really cool being one of the few Romulans around. It's kind of nice not to have the competition of people who are obsessed with your frame-by-frame accuracy. I like just putting it together and having a good time and then dressing up.
Well, it's a spectacular outfit, a wonderful look. You carry it very, very well. And I mean that as a huge compliment because it's absolutely beautiful. And you're right, it's nice to see the representation of the Romulans here, and we're having a very good time. Now, has he asked you the questions about what are your favorite episodes?
Not yet. My favorite episode is probably Devil in the Dark, but the Corbinite Maneuver is the first one I saw, so that one's also really cool. And then, of course, the Enterprise incident is what I'm dressed up as, so it gets an honorable mention.
Balance of Terror?
Balance of Terror, I actually don't remember a lot of it. I watched it like 2 years ago, so I remember liking it, but I don't have a solid memory of it.
And what is it about Star Trek that just draws you?
I really like the idea of looking forward into a more hopeful future. The idea of everyone working together, and I also honestly really geek out about the political aspects of it, like how do all these planets work together? How do we source all these materials from all the other places? I also watch a lot of political news when I watch TV. It's either Star Trek or the news. So the idea of kind of integrating science fiction and politics and human rights and all these other kind of really interesting things into one show is really, really cool.
That's wonderful.
Now, we're going to ask you just a few. They may seem off the way. Have you ever watched Inside the Actor's Studio?
Yes.
Okay, we have what we call our James Lipton question.
Okay.
Okay, the first one would be, and I think we know, if you could be any race in Star Trek other than human, what would it be?
Oh, God. I like the Romulans, but their government is really disturbing, so probably not them. Vulcans are also really cool, but again, maybe not, although T'Pol's really awesome. So what has a good government but is also really cool? I guess it leaves you with Andoria. Andoria seems to work pretty well as a species. That could be nice. Yeah, not Orion. Orions have their own problems. Yeah, probably Andoria, just for the living situation.
Now, if you are I have no idea what that was, so I apologize now. If you are a captain in the Federation,
okay,
and you're flying and you are commanding your ship,
okay,
your ship's name is USS. I love that this one makes our.
The last person we interviewed, we didn't even get the question out. He answered it. I know we've had people.
Some people know, and some people really want to think about it.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I always pictured myself as a science officer. I don't think I like the pressure of being a captain, so I never really thought about it.
Okay, then as a science officer, what would your specialty be?
Probably xenobiology.
Well, tell Terry what you're going to college for.
Field biology.
Awesome.
Yeah, same thing.
Geek women are the best.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay, here's the big one.
Okay.
CBS Paramount, you're writing a script or a book.
Okay.
And they give you permission.
Okay.
They say, this is going to stick. This is going to be canon. You get to kill a character.
Oh, no.
Who would you kill?
Oh, who would I kill?
Oh, they're already
What just happened? I don't know.
They're already agreeing.
Again, not off the top of I don't know anyone off the top of my head. I have no idea. I can only do original series because it's the only one I've watched. So that really is limiting my options, which is my problem.
Who do you think would have the most dramatic impact?
Most dramatic impact would, Kirk died in the new movies. I think probably Spock, because when he died, they had another 2 movies to get him back. So there's that. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to kill Spock. He's my favorite.
Would you kill McCoy?
No, I would probably kill Chekhov.
You know what?
Because the animated series, he wasn't there, and they got to have another alien on the bridge, and that was really cool.
Eric's.
Yeah.
Well,
So probably Chekhov.
And Chekhov's might be an interesting one to do thematically because he was the youngest.
Yeah.
And had such a bright future ahead of him. And I could see where Kirk and even, Spock do that thing where he just closes his eyes.
Yeah.
At the news, and
I like it.
And it would have a huge effect for Sulu.
Yeah, it would.
And then
that's really good.
Our last big question really is going to be, if you were talking to somebody who's never been to one of these conventions before, our listeners are in, what would you want them to know about why the Star Trek convention is so much fun?
I think it's a lot of fun because the people that I meet up with, I'm not really interested in seeing a lot of actor panels or getting autographs or pictures. That's just not my thing. If it is, again, all power to you. You've got a lot of stuff here. But I really like, after the convention is over, hanging out with people in random places and talking about nothing at all. It's like 5 days of just hanging out with friends in a place that's designed for you to hang out with your friends. It's really pleasant.
That's a great answer. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for telling us your story.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Gettysburg 7.
And this is Tara Lynn.
Joel on True, bitches.
Hey everyone, this is Tara Lynn again with the G&T Show with another installation of our personal Trek project. And with me today, who's giving us her story, is Kathleen Holquin, who many of you may know as David's mother. We are very pleased to have you here at the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas in 2014. Kathleen, you have a unique story. You have a unique story that we really want to hear. And so tell us, what very first brought you into Star Trek?
Okay, I know it came out in 67, but we didn't get a TV. And when I got married at 16, we got our first TV in 69, and I had my son in 69.
Wow.
And I was watching the news one night, and they every night, because it's Vietnam, they would list the young men that were being killed. And one night, there just happened to be a couple that were in my class at high school, and I cried. I was holding my little boy, and I thought, what kind of future? And so I shut the TV off, and I told my husband, I'm not going to watch TV for a few years, the news. I'm going to raise my son. That's all I can concentrate on. So then one night, he's at work, and I turned the TV on, and there's Star Trek, and I watched it, and I was so intrigued and fascinated. I got the message that Gene Roddenberry was putting into the show, and I thought, this is hope. This gave me hope for the future, that there was a good future for my son, for us, and so I started watching it. Then I got to go back and see the pilot show, but I love Kirk. I was glad that they cast him. But it inspired me. I realized that there's a purpose for all of us. And I became a nurse because of Roddenberry's.
Really?
Yes, I went to school, and when I saw her, I didn't realize she was Gene's wife until later on. But I felt like they're not only giving a message, but we all should, not be together and make the world a better place. So really inspired.
So Nurse Chapel inspired you to become a nurse.
Yes, become a nurse too.
I'm sure that Majel would have enjoyed hearing that story very, very much.
I'm glad
now, is there a particular episode of hers or of the original series that sticks with you? I mean, you don't have to know the name of it, but you just loved it all.
I just loved it all.
So did you raise your children with Star Trek?
Yes.
Is that how David became a fan?
Yes, my oldest son, and David's my youngest son, and yes, they are the next generation. I'm the first generation, yes, but they also love the first, the original too. Yes. And a lot of people got his message, but there was also a lot of people who didn't. I was surprised when I would talk to them, and they would say, "What message?" And I go, "Oh, you need to watch it again and pay attention." And they did, because I was shocked, but because I got it. I realized the message and the lesson he was trying to teach us.
Now, how long did it take for you to get through school? And so I'm assuming you went back to school as a mother.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes, I got my AA degree, and then I went through nursing school. It took 2 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What nursing school did you go to?
I went to, Fresno. I went to Fresno, and I became,
That's awesome. Well, my mother was a nurse.
Oh,
she was med surg. My father was a general surgeon. So it's nice to see somebody else in the medical field.
Thank you. I was oncology and med surg.
Oh my word! My word! Oncology is a tough nut.
Yeah.
And thank you very, very much for all of the service you've given so many people.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome. That's great. Well, did you watch Star Trek: The Next Generation as well with your kids?
Yes. Yes, we watched it together, and then we would talk about it.
Right.
If they had a question, or I would say, "What do you think about that?" And it really brought the family. It was like family time.
Is this your first convention?
It's my second.
Okay. What was the first one?
Actually, I'm sorry. It's the third one. 3 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, and then last year, and then this year.
That's great.
Yes.
So, what was your first convention experience like? Was it a little daunting?
No. Actually, I came here the first time to support David and my son, and I didn't get to come in. Last year was the first time I came in, and I was just fascinated with all the stuff here and everything. I mean, I wish I had been able to come here at the beginning when they were doing this. This year is great, too. Every year is something different, something new.
I'm glad you're having a very good time.
Thank you.
So is there any message that you would like our listeners to hear? Because some of our listeners are still pretty new to Star Trek. JJ's the new movies are actually bringing a lot of young Star Trek fans in, because now they're going back to the original series, which is the series you watched at first run. What message would you like for them to hear? What message do you think was Gene's most important?
It's not all about the action, the blowing things up, and it's the message about life and how we all do need to work together and make this world a better place, and just watch it and pick up on the messages that he's trying to give us. So
that's great. Kathleen, thank you for joining us on the G&T show. Your story is a beautiful one, and one that I think resonates with the rest of the fandom. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. This is Terry Lynn from the G&T show, once again from the floor of the Star Trek Las Vegas convention in 2014. It's another edition of the Personal Trek Project called So What's Your Story? And today we have with us con attendee Chuck Gilmore. And so Chuck, so what's your story?
Well, with Star Trek, I've been a fan since I was a little kid. I grew up in a home, in an apartment at a business, so I couldn't go outside a whole lot.
Right.
So I had toys, but television was my favorite thing to watch, and I was born in 79.
All right.
So it was just the beginning of the space shuttle program.
Oh, okay.
And my dad showed me Star Trek. I was just a little kid.
So you were watching reruns of the original series?
Original series, the movie, the motion picture, a little bit later, The Wrath of Khan. And also I started watching launches of the space shuttle too, and it just seems like they're interconnect. I mean, with Star Trek, that's supposed to be the result of what we're doing today.
Right.
Now, of course, the space shuttle program is now over with, but I still like watching some old space shuttle missions, and of course I watch Star Trek. I'm an original fan. I do like the other spin-offs. The movies are superior. I have a saying, Star Trek television series, we don't have reunions, we have movies.
Right.
So that's better than all the other television shows.
What was it about the original series that drew you in as a fan?
The writing was great, and the organization of the characters and actors. They know their stuff. They work very well with each other. It's kind of different today with some TV shows I've watched. It seems stale.
Really?
Yes.
Was there a specific episode of the original series that kind of sung to you?
Yes. The Doomsday Machine is my favorite episode of the original series. One time I was up in Minnesota on a family vacation. Went to the Mall of America. I bought the VHS tape.
Okay.
When we arrived home, the first thing I did was put that tape in. I didn't unpack. I didn't get something to eat or something to drink. I'm like, I'm watching this right now. And
what was it about this story in the Doomsday Machine that made you?
The special guest that played Commodore Decker was
amazing, wasn't he?
superior acting. The writing, of course. William Shatner getting very upset when he discovers his ship has been taken over by Commodore Decker, and the Enterprise was almost destroyed, and his anger about it. I mean, Shatner's acting is superior, as I say.
Now, this is your first convention, correct?
Correct, yes.
And what drew you to Las Vegas this time around?
Okay, Star Trek is my favorite of everything.
All right.
This is the best of the best. And on one December evening, I was looking at this, and I said, I need to go, I want to go, one of these days I'm going. I'm like, what's stopping me?
Right.
So I just clicked my mouse, purchased the gold package, and I'm here today.
Well, you seem like you're having the time of your life.
It is a time of my life, yeah.
And tell me, what about the convention that you've enjoyed so far?
Well, being so close to the celebrities, the first evening here, there were a couple of celebrities here, and we were just talking. I mean, there was nobody in line, and just having regular chat with these actors and actresses that I've seen over and over again for, well, now decades. And the people. Growing up, I have friends that are Star Trek fans, but I'm the top dog in my friends group of loving Star Trek. And just striking up a chat about Star Trek. And also, what I like about bringing here in the convention, the Star Trek and the NASA stuff too. They had a couple of speakers about NASA. And I was talking to one lady that worked on the Saturn probe Cassini. So 1 minute I'm talking about Star Trek to someone about best episodes, best series, and the next thing I know I'm talking to a lady and asking her questions about real space exploration.
It's exciting, isn't
yes.
it? Yes. It's a fandom unlike any others, I think.
You're right.
That I think that a lot of people don't really quite comprehend until you experience something like this at least once. Would you recommend coming to the convention to your friends who are maybe thinking about it?
Yes. I do, and also I want to add that the television series The Next Generation, I've found out that they're in two top 10s. One of them is in the top 10 cliffhangers.
Yep.
Which, when I was a kid, I didn't know what a cliffhanger existed. I was only 10 or 11 when it came out.
And to be honest with you, it has nothing to do with your age. Even me, who's much older than you, the best of both worlds, to have a cliffhanger like that was a shocker.
It was such a great episode. I wasn't even paying attention to time. I was watching it, and I'm like, what just happened? I'm like, hey, Dad, something's wrong. They're not showing the part 2. What's going on? Son, you're going to have to wait all summer. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to wait all summer, but when it finally gets there, I'll be back in school. Oh, no. And, of course, being cliffhangers, being in the same category as Dallas.
Right.
Dallas is number 1, Who Shot JR.
Right.
And then the series finale, All Good Things.
Right.
That's also in the top 10. And that's in the same category as MASH. MASH will be number 1 series finale.
Right.
Yes, so
it's neat to be able to be a fan of something that's just so special. Yes. Who has been so far? The convention's technically only halfway over at about this time. Who have you been most impressed by, celebrity-wise, that you've met?
Oh, Terry Farrell.
I saw the picture.
Yes.
For those, it's kind of a shame that you won't see this on video, but he has a wonderful photo of him dipping her as in a dance, and it's a beautiful photo.
Yeah, it's a picture of me, but a friend of mine absolutely loves her, and he's going to be extremely jealous. He was already jealous. Now,
good for you.
Now I'm going to rub it in. I'm going to get a digital copy. I'm going to pull pranks on him.
That's great. Now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions that we call our James Lipton questions. If you had ever watched the show Actor Studio,
a little bit of it, yes.
Yeah, we kind of have a few that we tweak, and we ask all of our guests, regardless of where they come from, these same kind of questions. And that is, if you were living in the Star Trek universe, if you could be any species other than human, what would you be?
Okay. Wow, that's a tough one.
And the Klingons just showed up, so be patient with him. He'll think about a species real quick.
Well, I would say maybe the Ferengis.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
I don't think I would enjoy physically being a Ferengi, but I like the philosophy of it, because if you watch the Ferengis, they're always in shenanigans. I mean, they're not boring. I mean, I'm not saying that they're full of drama, but it's entertaining. In fact, on a Deep Space Nine episode, they were rescuing Moogie.
Right.
And in a way, it was funny. It had a little bit of slapstick in it.
Right.
And
but it was full of heart.
Yes, and
that's awesome. What a great. All right, so you're living in the Star Trek universe, and you're the commander of a vessel. What's the name of your vessel? The USS?
USS. Oh, that's. Just give me a second here.
Take your time.
Wow. Well, normally I would say USS Enterprise, but that's reserved for Captain Kirk.
And it's funny. It's not uncommon. Most of the people who answer this question know that the Enterprise belongs to somebody else. So.
Yes. You know what? I'm also a train buff too. a steam engine, I'll probably call it the USS Norfolk and Western.
I like that. That's fun, and that's a unique answer.
Registration number NCC 611.
Love it. I love it.
Or it could be registration number NCC 1218. That's another famous steam engine. So.
That's so cool. That is so cool. All right, the next question is, now, you've been given the pen to write a book or a Star Trek novel or a script.
Okay.
But you've received a directive from CBS and Paramount that you have to kill off a major canon character, and it's going to stick. What Star Trek character do you kill off?
Well, as I'm thinking, it has to be a powerful character that people will remember. I mean, if you kill off a minor character, people will remember it and then they'll forget about it. But I'm not trying to say it's supposed to be something like the Old Yeller scene, but I would say Worf. And the reason why is Worf has received the respect from all of the crew. So if he would die an honorable death, or they want to honor him by making sure he goes to Sto-vo-kor, you'll probably have a lot of crew people volunteering to get back at the bad guy. I mean, they can say, we're going to do this for Worf, we're going to get that guy, and we're going to kick his butt. That could be a very powerful writing, a very powerful script.
That is a fantastic, fantastic answer, and one we've never received before.
Yes.
Well, Chuck, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and thank you for telling us your story.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be on this great program. Thank you.
Have a great time at Star Trek Las Vegas.
Thank you.
This is Terry Lynn at the G&T Show, and have another great installment of the Trek Story Project, the Personal Trek Project, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Music for the G&T Show is provided by Warp 11, Grethor, 5-Year Mission, and Andrew Allen's Smooth Federation.
G&T Show is a Busy Little Beaver production.
Some dude walks out, proceeds to explain what it's all about. I sure want to leave. I think you'd agree, but we cannot leave till we find out what it's all about. It's all make-believe, nothing is permanent down here. It's just another